A new investigation uncovered how right-wing influencers Andrew and Tristan Tate, who face pending rape and human trafficking charges in Romania, courted powerful conservative allies in the U.S. The New York Times investigation explores how a 2-year-long travel ban that prevented the Tates from leaving Romania while prosecutors built their case was suddenly lifted, allowing Andrew and Tristan to leave for the U.S. The Times found that the Tates built alliances with 2 of President Trump's sons and other members of the Trump administration.
Andrew Tate built an empire on a simple promise to millions of young men. Follow me, and everything becomes possible. He was the self-proclaimed misogynist influencer with over 10 million followers on X, commanding attention from a generation hungry for answers. He operated the real-world course, charging $40 monthly, while his exclusive War Room membership demanded $8,000 up front. The business generated approximately $5 million monthly from subscriptions alone. Yet today, the man who convinced the internet he was permanently untouchable is watching his entire world collapse in real time. And the speed of this downfall reveals something fundamental about empires built on persona rather than substance. The story of how we got here begins not with scandal, but with a boxing ring. In late 2025, after a 9-year retirement from kickboxing, Tate announced his professional boxing debut against Chase Damore in Dubai. He talked about this fight like it would be nothing, another chance to showcase his dominance, another platform to remind everyone why they should be listening to him. He built the narrative meticulously.
Things you own you.
Okay.
And perhaps you could have a whole bunch of money. If you want to live a very simple life, then you have more freedom, that's true.
Yeah.
But if you're stupid like me and you have a whole bunch of money and 102 cars and 33 houses and 4 baby mamas and a jet and a yacht, and you start getting all this shit, you turn out that you don't own it, it owns you, because every day you're getting problems dealing with it.
I'm older, but superior. I'm out of practice, but unstoppable. This is not even a real challenge. The messaging was carefully calibrated to his brand's core promise, that being Andrew Tate meant always winning, always being ahead, always maintaining control. Then, something unexpected happened. On the night of the fight, Tate lost by majority decision after 6 rounds. Worse than the loss itself was what everyone watching saw.
On your X account, to millions of people, you've said this: stop letting women vote, stop giving women position as judges, stop giving women political appointments. As soon as only men run government and law, all the problems disappear. Women now understand that without male protection, they're nothing but
a 9-year-old man whose body visibly couldn't keep pace with what his mouth had been promising for months. He needed recovery time. He looked tired. The person whose entire brand was built around physical dominance and mental unbreakability appeared breakable. The immediate reaction online was volcanic. Clips spread instantly, 650,000 views on X, over 1 million on TikTok. The memes were relentless. Comments flooded in. Total aura collapse. Fraud check of the century. But Tate's response to the loss would prove far more
that the greatest fraud check of all time happened on Saturday when Andrew Tate lost to Chase Damore.
It's an interesting philosophical question, because if you wrap in the persona part of it, then yes, like that's pretty
This might be the quintessential fraud check. If there was any sort of doubt about him winning, he should have never taken this fight. And now he's going online and he's doing the babyface thing of like, you have to live, and I'd rather try and fail. No, that's not who you are. Your persona has nothing
damaging than the loss itself. In interviews following the fight, Tate made excuses. He claimed, "I lost my fight because I had so much adrenaline. I had like an adrenaline dump after the second round," and insisted he would have won had he maintained energy. This was the critical error. The core foundation of the Andrew Tate brand was built on one principle: never make excuses, own your decisions, never back down, never shift blame. He had sold millions of young men on this exact philosophy. Yet in his moment of pressure, he did precisely what he always told others they should never do. His audience didn't just see a boxing loss. They saw a man violate his own foundational teaching. But the loss opened a door that Tate deeply did not want opened. Once people began questioning whether he could physically do what he claimed, they started investigating whether he could ever do what he claimed. A creator named Napoleon Bonaparte conducted a detailed breakdown of Tate's professional fighting history and discovered something striking. Many of the fights he claimed to have won carried no verifiable proof they ever happened. There were no records, no documentation, nothing traceable. Among the fights that could be confirmed, a significant number came against opponents with no record of competing against anyone except Tate. Nobody else. ever.
A big mouth, he likes to show off, likes to get clicks. It's exactly what I thought he'd be. He's just a product of the new generation. Like I said, I don't think he thinks properly before he talks. I think he will regret saying that. Well, I know he'll regret it. I'll make him regret it, but I think even himself, he'll regret saying that. I just don't think he was thinking of it. I've definitely missed the whole, the vibe of the gym, the camaraderie you have with the other people you're training with. I missed the brotherhood, but I knew exactly what I was getting in for. I knew exactly what I was going to be prepared for. I knew exactly what we were going to have to do. I knew how hard it was going to be. I was very excited by it, and we're coming to the end of that now. The training's been done. It's time to fight.
The implications were staggering. Several of his world title wins came against opponents with no established records outside their matches with him. One title came from a fight against someone with more losses than wins. When observers examined the complete picture, none of the titles came from what anyone would consider elite-level competition. He had fought very few opponents with winning records, and had actually lost to some of those. The foundation of the entire undefeated warrior image, the thing his entire persona rested upon, was suddenly questionable. People weren't just laughing at one boxing loss anymore. They were questioning whether the legend had ever been real in the first place. While this investigation was spreading across the internet, a second incident struck. Andrew, his brother Tristan, Myron Gaines, and others were spotted at a Miami nightclub while a controversial track was playing. Video footage emerged, showing them in a space where a Kanye West song with repeated Hitler references was playing, with one member performing a Nazi salute. The backlash came immediately and intensely from media outlets and city officials horrified by the imagery. What happened next revealed something crucial about Tate's character. Instead of standing firm, instead of owning the moment the way his entire brand philosophy demanded, he threw blame onto Sneaky, a person in his own group, a particular person in that group who everyone's saying I sold out. His name is Sneaky, and he's a piece of copper, and he deliberately did something to get clicks for his views, Tate said. He claimed the situation wasn't organic, that it was orchestrated to damage him. He made excuses. He shifted responsibility. He did everything his brand taught men never to do. The reaction from his own audience was unprecedented. For the first time, people defended Sneaky over Tate himself. The student appeared more credible than the teacher. Comments flooded in. You sold out. You're not top G anymore. His audience had been watching critically, and they noticed the exact moment their leader violated his own philosophy on the biggest possible platform. The damage wasn't just reputational, it was foundational. The people who built their identities on following him suddenly saw the entire framework collapse. Around this same time, an old clip resurfaced where Tate claimed reading was a waste of time. I'm too smart for books.
The result I wanted, but truthfully the result I wanted was to see if I could still do it. 40 years old, 10 years retired, a little bit of time in a Romanian dungeon. It was always going to be a big ask against someone so much bigger than me, younger than me, more active than me, but I wanted a real challenge. I didn't want to fight a tin can. I didn't want to fight someone older than me or smaller than me. I felt like I won the first 2 rounds, but then because he's 20 kilo heavier, he started leaning on me and sapped some energy. But I didn't quit. Never give up, never retreat, never surrender, fight to the end, go out on your shield. So I have no excuses. Training camp went fantastic. Time is the fire in which we all burn. Unfortunately, a 40-year-old's not a 22-year-old. I gave it my absolute all, and I have nothing but respect for Chase. I have no excuses. I'm not going to say anything bad about him. I'm not going to make up any reasons. He was the man who won. He deserves this.
I'm too smart to read. I sit there and go, smart people read. No, I need action. I need constant chaos in my life to feel content, he said. The internet responded with merciless mockery. Teachers reported students laughing about it. Comments described him sounding like an 8-year-old explaining to his teacher why homework wasn't done. Every attempt Tate made to defend himself only created more material for criticism. He became trapped in a cycle where each response fueled the next wave of ridicule. Most strikingly, Tate began admitting things previously unthinkable. In recent interviews, he openly acknowledged that his influence was not what it used to be, that he felt replaced by even more extreme personalities who are now pulling the attention he used to own, and that the impact he once had simply doesn't land the same way anymore. This was a massive shift for someone who spent years presenting himself as permanently ahead of everyone else. His own audience noticed he was now doing exactly what he had mocked others for chasing relevance. Meanwhile, the legal machinery was closing in from multiple directions. In Romania, he faced charges of human trafficking, rape, and forming an organized crime group following his arrest in December 2022. The initial case was ruled procedurally invalid in December 2024, but a second investigation continued. In the United Kingdom, prosecutors authorized 21 total charges against both brothers in 2024. Andrew Tate faced 10 charges connected to 3 alleged victims, including rape, actual bodily harm, human trafficking, and controlling prostitution for gain. Tristan Tate faced 11 charges connected to one alleged victim, including rape, actual bodily harm, and human trafficking. 4 British women filed a civil case alleging rape, assault, and coercive control, with incidents dating back to 2013 and 2015. One woman claimed Tate threatened to kill her. Another said he made clear he would kill anyone who spoke to her. And a third claimed Tate convinced her he had killed other people. The High Court trial was accelerated to June 2026, with the judge stating, "It's not in anyone's interest that this case goes into the long grass of 2027. In the United States, Florida launched a criminal investigation with search warrants and subpoenas issued. A BBC investigation into leaked war room chat logs identified 45 possible victims who were allegedly groomed into sex work. Though the number was likely higher, the war room had 434 members worldwide, and messages from alleged leaders documented methods for gaining control over women, including removing her entire support structure from her life, forcing tattoos, and coercing women into creating pornographic content. Hertfordshire Constabulary announced in March 2026 that it was reopening an investigation into serious misconduct allegations dating back to 2014 and 2015, with the police stating they were committed to handling allegations of this level properly and thoroughly, regardless of how much time has passed. This announcement came from law enforcement on record, a completely different category of pressure than anything social media had created. Throughout 2025 and into 2026, the brothers traveled from Romania to Florida to Dubai to Hong Kong, while politicians across the UK pushed for extradition. Conservative Shadow Home Secretary Chris Philp called for urgent extradition requests, stating the Tate brothers face serious criminal allegations in the UK. It is important justice is done. Liberal Democrat representatives called Andrew a despicable and cowardly thug. Romania's justice minister publicly questioned why Tate's travel ban had been lifted. The empire that once looked untouchable from the outside is now showing vulnerabilities from every angle. His audience is fractured. His criticism is coming from all directions. His support is no longer automatic or intense. He went from being one of the most searched names on the internet to someone increasingly described as a watered-down version of who he used to be, like someone performing the role of Andrew Tate rather than actually being him. Every legal pressure point, every admission of decline, every failed defense adds weight to a structure already under serious strain.
There's a particular person in that group who everyone's saying I sold out. His name is Sneaky, and he's a piece of, and he deliberately did something to get clicks for his views, and I should have known better. When Clav and Nick said, we want to bring Sneeko, I said 5 times, I don't like him, he's weird. The lesson here is to stick to my morals and avoid pieces of, and he deliberately did something to get clicks for his views, not understanding it's going to put me in jail.
Okay, so Andrew Tate is not doing well right now. And I mean that in every possible way. The guy who spent years convincing the internet he was untouchable. The guy who had millions of young men hanging on his every word. That same guy is now watching his whole image fall apart in real time. And the worst part for him, he kind of knows it. And that shift, that moment where someone who acted like they had everything figured out starts showing cracks. That is exactly what we are watching happen right now.
Your ex account to millions of people. You've said this: stop letting women vote. Stop giving women position as judges. Stop giving women political appointments. As soon as only men run government and law, all the problems disappear. Women now understand that without male protection, then...
In public, in slow motion, and the internet is not looking away. Let's get into it. Because not long ago, this man was everywhere.